Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Solvent Extractors of India, I, Dr. B.U. Mehta, extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the 49th Annual General Meeting. In the current circumstances, this AGM is being held virtually through video conferences facility. We at SEA hope that all our members and the industry friends are healthy, safe, and well. In the current challenging times, we urge all members to exercise caution and stay healthy. We would like to begin with thanking our patrons and supporters for offering their patronage for this event comprising of 49th AGM and the TriStar Mega Webinar. Now we'll play a video. We now commence the 49th Annual General Meeting with the glimpses for the year 2019-20. Uh, since the quorum is completed, more than 200 participants member already joined. I now request Atul Chaturvedi, President SEA, to chair the 49th AGM and address the member. Over to Atulji.
Thank you, Mehta ji. I hope I am audible.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Friends, welcome to the 49th AGM being held virtually for the first time since inception of C way back in 1963. The annual report and the audited accounts of the association for the financial year 2019-20 have already been circulated via email. And with your permission, I will take them as read. Unusual COVID times has compelled us to go virtual against our own wishes. We sincerely hope this is the first and last time that we are meeting virtually. The fun of meeting everyone individually and networking at CAGM can never be compensated by Zoom meetings. However, every dark cloud has a silver lining, and it must be said that with traveling curtailed, we are still able to connect with our members frequently through virtual meetings. Who knows, this may actually become the new norm, just as working from home has become a reality. COVID is bound to alter our behavior, and it would be advisable to calibrate our responses on the basis of changed perception of mankind. Friends, we are lucky we are in a business without which mankind will never survive. The world can do without cars, computers, airplanes, etc. But without food, we will not survive. It may not be out of place to say that the business we are in has drunk the elixir of life and is indestructible. There will definitely be ups and downs, but in the end, we will come out relatively unscathed. Let us look at the year in retrospect and the COVID blues. The period up to February was rather uneventful and can be termed as the lull before the storm. Little did we realize the magnitude of the problem which was going to hit us going forward. When our Honorable Prime Minister came on air on the evening of 22nd March, we knew something was amiss. The complete lockdown announced in the country hit us squarely in the solar plexus. Businesses and establishments were forced to close overnight to fight the pandemic. We would, at this time, like to place on record the exceptional work done by a bureaucracy and officials during the initial phase of this lockdown. In my 4 decades of professional life, I have never seen officials being so proactive in decision making. Had it not been for their proactive approach, our country would have struggled to maintain the supply chain of essential commodities. How we wish the same enthusiasm and proactive approach is visible during normal times. No one can stop India from becoming a top performing nation if the same approach is visible around the year. Our members, with some initial hiccups, responded commendably in maintaining the supply line of edible oils in the country during trying times. We doff our proverbial hats to the silent warriors of the vegetable oil industry. Thank you very much for ensuring that the supply line, as far as edible oil is concerned, was maintained very, very smoothly around the year. Demand destruction. Much has already been spoken about the demand destruction which we have witnessed during Corona times. HoReCa segment and out-of-home consumption still continues to be suffering, and the demand destruction looks real. For the first time after many years, our imports are likely to fall by almost 1.5 million tons compared to the previous year. Our estimate is that we may import around 13.5 million tons this year compared to 14.9 the previous year. Is this likely to become the norm going forward? Is actually $1 million question, and I don't have an answer as of now. A word about oilseed development. For a very long time, we have been hearing about the launch of National Mission on Oilseeds. Our Prime Minister, Finance Minister, as well as the Agriculture Minister have all spoken about the need to augment oilseed crop and curb imports of edible oil with the objective of achieving Atmanirbharta. Somehow, the seriousness at the execution level seems to be missing, and we have still not heard the formal announcement of this project. Rain gods and high domestic oil prices seem to be doing the job of policymakers as far as oilseed production in our country is concerned. Encouraged by good rains and high prices of oils, our oilseed farmer has responded enthusiastically by planting 19.7 million hectares compared to 18.5 million hectares in the previous year. This reflects an increase of about 10.5%. However, we may not get the full advantage of higher acreage due to excessive rains in August. Still, the overall output of both soya and groundnut will be much higher than in the previous year. We are also pinning our hopes on mustard as the prices are very attractive to farmers. Apart from this, the land also has very high subsoil moisture. We should not be surprised if mustard during Rabi touches the magical 10 million plus production figure. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It's early days. For the benefit of members, let me share with you that the Government of India's target this year for mustard production is 12.5 million tons or 125 lakh tons. I hope they achieve it. A word about farm reforms. The long awaited and delayed farm reforms have finally become law. We wholeheartedly welcome the farm reforms and would like to congratulate the government for these bold reforms which have the potential to change the agricultural landscape of our country. We are extremely happy for the decision to practically scrap the dreaded Essential Commodities Act, which has been a millstone around the neck of smooth development of trade and commerce in essential commodities. The unbridled powers which were given to the food inspectors was unimaginable and ensured corporates shied away from dealing in essential commodities big time. It is now the duty of our industry to ensure smooth implementation of these reforms, which have not only unshackled our farmers, but trade in agricultural commodities as well. The agitation against the farm reforms seems to be a little misplaced, and hope better sense would gradually prevail and things will become normal as we go forward. A word about adulteration versus blending. A massive debate is currently raging in our country on the issue of blending in mustard oil. Government of India seemingly had got a lot of complaints about flagrant abuse of blending permission which the government had given in the past. Friends, there is no smoke without fire, and this was giving a bad name to our industry due to the wrong action of some players. FSSI recently issued a notification banning the blending in mustard oil with effect from 1st October. While we understand the rationale of FSSI decision, we feel the due process of banning was not applied, which has led few manufacturers to go to court and get a stay order. The last apparently has still not been heard on this. The stand of C on this issue has been very clear. We support blending, but not adulteration, which implies cheating a consumer and is definitely unacceptable. Rapeseed and castor model farms. This year, association, in line with its stated objectives of working towards increasing acreage and productivity of mustard, joined hands with Solidaridad in setting up model farms in Rajasthan. Our past president, Vijay Dattaji, who is very much present here, has actively supported this initiative. Further, as in the past, C, under the active leadership of Haresh Vyas, continued with its efforts in water conservation and developing castor model farms. Both these projects of castor and mustard are showing very encouraging results, and we feel they have the potential of being game changers in farm practices in these commodities. FTAs. It is indeed heartening to note that Government of India is once again renegotiating FTAs after consulting relevant stakeholders. C is compiling relevant information which has the capacity to cause stress in our sector to present the same to the negotiating team of Commerce Ministry. I would once again take this opportunity of requesting members to spare some time and pen their concerns to enable us to take the same suitably. In fact, I'm sure our colleagues in the industry remember that in 2010, uh, something got signed which actually started hitting us in the last few years. So I hope everybody applies their mind and puts their thoughts on paper and puts it across to the sea so that we can suitably take it with the Commerce Ministry. A word about C Awards. C Awards have always been an important feature of all our AGMs. However, due to COVID, we would be presenting these awards at the next AGM. The prospective winners should not feel disappointed. Friends, after putting 4 years as president of C, I was hoping to enjoy the show from the sidelines going forward. This was obviously not to be. The managing committee of C took a unanimous decision to forego elections this year and asked the existing team to continue for further 1 year. Being a loyal soldier of the association, we have no option but to obey the command of the members. Friends, you will have to tolerate me for a further 1 year period. Sorry, folks.
All are privileged.
I'm reminded of what Sushil Bhai had said way back about 4 years back. Atul, you cannot go before 4 to 5 years. I hope he remembers that, and his saying is prophetic. This year we lost a very young and active member, Mr. Nilesh Patel, who was snatched untimely by the Almighty. Nilesh Bhai was chairman of our West Zone, and his loss would be deeply felt by the association. We pay our respects to the departed soul. Before ending, I would like to place on record our deep gratitude to senior officials of the government, as well as trade bodies, for their understanding and active cooperation, which has helped C immensely in solving issues of our industry. We are extremely grateful to the press and electronic media who have always projected our issues in the right perspective and given due publicity. I would also like to thank all our members, office bearers, Shri Abhay Udeshi, Shri Ajay Jhunjhunwala, Shri Sunil Mundra, chairman and co-chairman of various committees, and last but not the least, a permanent think tank of past presidents. They're all our friends, philosophers, and guides, and their unstinted support is always available to us. We are extremely thankful to the C Secretariat headed by the young and energetic Dr. B.V. Mehta, and ably supported by Mughal, Shah, and Ganesh Kaldate, and the team. It is all the more appreciable that even during lockdown, Mehta ji and his team ensured the work of the association did not suffer even for a day. all the best for a wonderful future. And I hope and pray that we next year meet in person. Before I end, let me also remind you that in the month of January, from 27th till 29th, Globe Oil is going to be organized in Goa. It will both be a virtual as well as physical meet, and I'm sure we would have the opportunity of meeting all our friends once again in person instead of only virtually. Thank you very much. And before I end, I would request some of our senior members like Ashok Sethia ji to say a few words, and then Haresh Vyas ji to talk about Castor, and last but not the least, Vijay Datta ji on blending.
Sarji, after passing the resolution, I think we'll take them one by one.
Okay, after resolution?
Yeah. Let us finish the formal business.
Okay.
And then,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Atulji. Now we move to the official business of the association. The first agenda of the AGM is to receive and consider the annual report of the managing committee and the audited balance sheet as at 31st March 2020 and income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st March 2020 with the report of the auditors. The summary of the financial performance is presented here. You can see from these slides, the overall we have small surplus this year. Also, the share of the CSR activity has increased, including Castor Model Farm in Gujarat and Rajasthan, mustard and soya model farms in Rajasthan, water conservation Saurashtra, apart from contributing a large sum for flood relief in the Maharashtra and also for COVID-19. And we thank all our members for the generous help. Now I request Atulji to move the first resolutions.
Resolved, let me read it. Resolved that the 49th annual report of the Managing Committee for the financial year 2019 and 20 together with the audited statement of accounts, including the balance sheet as on 31st March 2020 and the income and expenditure account for the year 2019-20 and the report of the auditors be and are hereby adopted.
I second.
Thank you.
Consider resolution passed unanimously.
Thank you, Atulji. Now we move to the next resolution. The second agenda of the AGM is to reappoint the president of the association, the managing committee members, office bearer of the association for the year 2021. I would like to request Sri Atulji to move the second resolutions.
The managing committee at its meeting on 14th August 2020 has passed a unanimous resolution that in view of the COVID-19 pandemic to reappoint the existing members of the managing committee for the year 2020-21. The following members have given their consent and also confirmed that they are not disqualified as director under section 169(2) of the Companies Act 2013 and hold valid number. Resolved that the existing managing committee members and the office bearers of the association from ordinary membership be reappointed for the year 2020-21 and to fill up the vacancy, if any, in the managing committee as per the managing committee resolution dated 14th August 2020.
I second this resolution.
Thank you.
So we consider this as passed.
Yeah.
Mehta ji, can you announce the member? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
The new managing committee. Yeah.
The new managing committee, Sri Atul Chaturvedi, Madani Wilma Limited, for the post of the president of the association. In the central zone, Sri Vijay Sisrimal from Itarasi Oils and Floors Private Limited, Mr. Sunil Mundra from Kamal Solvent Extraction Private Limited, Sandeep Bajoria, Bajoria Fats and Proteins Limited, Pradeep Sarogi, Sai Baba Solvent Industries LLP, Ali Parvez Kadar, Liberty Oil Space Limited, Gulraj Alam of Abix Export India Private Limited. So there is a one vacancy in the central zone. In the west zone, Bhavin J. Chatrala, Castor Ginnar Industries Private Limited, Abhay Udesi, Iesu Agrochem Private Limited, Vinodrai A. Padodra, SK Industries, Haresh Vyas, Kisan Agro Products Industries, Kanubai J. Thakkar, Gokul Agro Resources Limited, Sri Shekhar Bansal, Benny Agro Products Private Limited. So there is one more vacancy in the west zone also. In the south zone, next. V. Nidhimon, Messrs. Vegai Agro Products Limited, Mr. Praveen Mehta of Abhay Solvents Private Limited, Mr. M. Rajaya of Vijay Agro Products Private Limited, Anil M. of KSC Limited, D. Nagendra Babu of Ravindra Solvents Oils Limited, K. Mohan Reddy of Kalam Agro Products and Oils Private Limited, and N.P. Anthony, Kaladi Rice Oil Mills Consortium Private Limited. In the north zone, Sri Pawan Kumar Agrawal, SV Solvent Limited, Sri Kishan Kumar Agrawal of Ramnivas Flour Mills Private Limited, Mr. Anil Modi of Modi Naturals Limited, Sri Ajay Junjunwala of Messrs. JR Agro Industries Private Limited, Dr. Prabodh Halde of Raisala Health Foods Limited, Mr. Ashish Goel, Sri Oils and Fats India Private Limited, and Mr. KB Goel of Asta Industries Private Limited. And East Zone, Sri Sushil Kumar Agrawal of Pragati Agri Products Private Limited, Sri Rajendra Kumar Jain, Pancham Marketeer Private Limited, Ashok Sethia, Sethia Oils Limited, Arun Kumar Saraf of Krishna Solvent Extraction Private Limited, Tapan Kumar Agrawal of Hemraj Industries Private Limited, and Ansuman Prakash of Sonipur Solvex Private Limited. Atulji, as you recommended, we have the two vacancy. So you can suggest West Zone.
As far as West Zone is concerned, we would suggest Priyam Patel, son of our old member and West Zone chairman, ex-West Zone chairman, Mr. Dilesh Bhai. And from Central Zone, we would suggest Mr. Sanjeev Asthana, the CEO for Ruchi Soya, to be the members. And we have the consent from both of them. I hope it is,
Atulji, as
yes,
under section 37(4), you have right to co-opt the three members, and I think you can read the names here.
The three members being co-opted would be Praveen Bhai Lunkar of Pranav Agro Industries, Shri Sushil Goenka ji, and Shri Vijay Datta, a mustard man from Ajmer, from Alwar, sorry.
Alwar. And of course, as decided earlier, the office bearer for the 2020-21 would be President Sri Atul Chaturvedi, Vice President Sri Abhay Udesi, Honorary Secretary Sri Ajay Junjunwala, and Honorary Treasurer Sri Sunil Mundra. Atulji, so resolution, you have to say resolution passed unanimously. All this.
Resolution, yes. The resolution is passed unanimously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The next move, resolution number 3, the third agenda of the AGM is to appoint auditors from the conclusion of this meeting till the conclusion of the next annual general meeting of the association and fix the remunerations. I would like to invite Sri Ajay Junjunwala, Honorary Secretary, to move this third resolution. Ajay ji. Ajay ji, you have to move the resolution.
Ajay ji, please unmute yourself, sir.
Unmute karo Ajay ji ko. Yeah.
Everybody listening now?
Yeah.
Resolved that Messrs. Puneet Bolwala and Company, Chartered Accountants, be and are hereby appointed as auditors until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting at the remuneration of rupees 20,000 per annum.
Mundraji, you have to second.
I
Sunil
second
ji?
this. Yeah, I second resolution.
Thank you.
Resolution passed unanimously.
Yeah, thank you. Now we move to the next resolution. The fourth and the last agenda of this AGM is to authorize the office bearer to nominate the special invitees on the managing committee and constitute the councils and committee. I would like to request the Atul Chaturvedi to move the fourth resolution. Atulji.
All those who are currently special invitees on the managing committee of the association and have confirmed in writing being renominated as special invitee for the year 2020-21, the chairman, co-chairman of the councils and conveners of the committees shall be notified by the office bearers hereafter. Resolved that the office bearers be and hereby authorized to nominate special invitees on managing committee and constitute various councils and committees of the association and nominate the chairman, co-chairman of various councils and convener of the committees and members respectively.
I, Abhay Udeshi, second this resolution.
Thank you.
Resolution
Thank you.
passed unanimously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Atulji.
Yeah.
We have now the 306. We have about 7 minutes. So you can invite the members to say a few words for this.
I will first request Ashok Sethia ji from Eastern India to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Atul Bhai just now said, we have managed to survive very well in this pandemic. One of the biggest problems for the rice bran oil industry is the problem of GST. Although association has been taking it up, but I would request some more energy and enthusiasm to get this problem solved. Simply taking it up did not help us, and the industry is suffering really very badly due to this one GST problem. The GST, either brand should go away, which is not possible, I think. Then we should get GST imposed on dual rice bran so that our problem is solved. The feed industry will not be affected because as it is priced in while selling the commodity to them. Thank you.
Thank you. No, we'll take it up seriously this year. This issue has been hanging around for a very long time, and we will definitely be taking it up much more seriously than what we've done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would request now Haresh Vyasji, I hope he's here, to say a few words as far as Castor is concerned. Is Haresh Vyas here?
Yeah, very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And good afternoon to everybody over here. On the Castor front, this year around, in spite of the pandemic, we have pursued the program and should be thankful to Chirag Bua because unfortunately me and Dr. Mehta or Bhavin are not really moving, but Chirag is moving around as our principal coordinator and technologist, and he's been doing a wonderful job. We have been able to reach out to 500 farms, and that is 350 hectares of land, out of which 100 farms have been impacted due to water logging. However, there is resowing being done in those farms. And on the water front, the water harvesting project, we have completed 80 water projects this year in Rajasthan and Saurashtra and Banaskantha. And we continue to do that. But I think we're going to have some issues with the funds as well, because I mean, normally when we meet, we are able to raise and garner funds, which has not been a case this time around. but we have sufficient funds to run these projects. The progress on the castor is pretty good, but the crop will be delayed to a certain extent because of extended rainfall. And on the other crops, I would say there was some damage to groundnut in the Saurashtra region, but not so in the North Gujarat. Cotton has been heavily hampered. And on the winter sowing, farmers are looking to dhania in Saurashtra, and mostly, the North Gujarat and Rajasthan will be looking at mustard and, jawar and other millets. Thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen. That's for me.
Thank you, Harish Bhai. I would request our mustard king, Vijay Dattaji, to throw some light on the blending controversy, as well as his idea as to how the crop is going to be planted this year, and the government's intention of having a crop size of about 12.5 million tons. Is it possible or is it not possible? Over to Vijay Bhai.
मैं राष्ट्रभाषा में बोलता हूँ। सभी को नमस्कार। देखिए, पहले मस्टर्ड की बात कर लेते हैं। मस्टर्ड की ज्यादा पैदावार पिछले सालों के मुकाबले होने के 3 कारण अभी मौजूद हैं धरातल पर। पहला, ऐतिहासिक भाव अपनी ऐतिहासिक ऊंचाई पर है। सरसों का भाव बहुत अच्छा मिल रहा है, किसान के लिए पूरा प्रलोभन है। दूसरा, जो सरसों की जो बेल्ट है, राजस्थान, वेस्टर्न यूपी और हरियाणा, इन तीनों में और सालों के मुकाबले बारिश कम हुई है, और इसलिए जो एरिया खाली रह गया है वो उसको सरसों के लिए सूटेबल है। किसान जनरली गेहूं कंपटीशन देता है, लेकिन गेहूं के भाव इस साल काफी पिटे हुए हैं। गवर्नमेंट काफी गेहूं छोड़ रही है, 2 रुपए किलो में, 3 रुपए किलो में, 1 रुपए किलो में गेहूं के भाव विशेषकर, और इसके अलावा अन्य अनाजों के, जौ के भी और बाजरा के भी भाव पिट रहे हैं। इसलिए किसान पूरी तरह से आकर्षित है सरसों की बुआई के लिए। पहला कारण तो ये है। मौसम अभी थोड़ा गर्म है, लेकिन 15 अक्टूबर के आसपास मुझे लगता है कि अच्छी पिकअप हो जाएगी और सरसों का हम रिकॉर्ड एरिया और प्रोडक्शन उम्मीद कर रहे हैं। जहां तक ब्लेंडिंग ऑयल का सवाल है, पिछले 28 साल से देश में विभिन्न तेलों के ब्लेंडेड ऑयल बनते रहे हैं। मुख्य जो माइनर ऑयल्स जिसको जो 50% से कम के इंग्रेडिएंट्स के हैं, उसमें देसी तेलों में सरसों, मूंगफली, कोकोनट और सीसेमी ऑयल होते थे। सेफ्लावर ऑयल से भी शुरू किया था सफोला ने। और विदेशी तेलों में माइनर ऑयल्स में ओलिव ऑयल, सेफ्लावर ऑयल और सनफ्लावर ऑयल होते थे। मेजर ऑयल्स में जो मोर देन 50% के थे, उसमें राइस ब्रान ऑयल, सोया ऑयल और अन्य तेल होते रहे हैं। ब्लेंडेड ऑयल पे कभी भी 28 सालों में किसी भी तेलों को लेकर के कोई विशेष कंप्लेंट नहीं रही है। तेलों में मिक्सिंग की एक समस्या अडल्ट्रेशन की हमेशा से रही है। कुछ लोगों ने इस बात को उछाल दिया है कि सिर्फ सरसों के तेलों की ब्लेंडिंग वाले ही मिलावट करते हैं और दूसरे तेलों वाले ने तो मूंगफली वाले मिलावट करते हैं ने और तेलों वाले मिलावट करते हैं। ये गलत धारणा लोगों ने, प्रेस ने और गवर्नमेंट ने एक नोटिफिकेशन निकाल दिया और उसमें सिर्फ इंडस्ट्री को पहले तो 7 दिन का टाइम दिया बंद करने को, और 25 तारीख को तो एक नोटिफिकेशन निकाल दिया कि पूरे देश में तुरंत प्रभाव से बिक्री पे रोक लगा दी जाए। ये बिल्कुल नादिरशाही ऑर्डर था। ये हाई कोर्ट में जाकर के सस्टेन नहीं हुआ है। उम्मीद ये है कि कोर्ट में ये ऑर्डर गलत साबित होगा और ब्लेंडेड ऑयल पे और अडल्ट्रेशन पे गवर्नमेंट भी, ऑफिसर्स भी, नेता भी, सभी लोग समझ लेंगे। ट्रेड और इंडस्ट्री तो समझ रही है कि असलियत क्या है, लेकिन जो जहां भी कंफ्यूजन है, जिन लोगों को भी कंफ्यूजन है, वो इसको क्लियर कर लेंगे। ब्लेंडेड ऑयल चलता रहना चाहिए। ब्लेंडेड ऑयल ने अपना एक मुकाम बनाया है पूरे देश में, उसका अपना एक अलग सेगमेंट बन गया है। उसने एक अलग प्रोडक्ट के रूप में, जिस तरीके से आप देखें छोले भटूरे ने या पाव भाजी ने अपना मार्केट बनाया हुआ है एक स्टेपल फूड के रूप में, इसी तरीके से ब्लेंडेड ऑयल ने ऑयल सेगमेंट में अपना शेयर बनाया हुआ है, पूरे इंडिया में बनाया हुआ है। और हमें उम्मीद ये है कि हाई कोर्ट से भी परमिशन मिलेगी, गवर्नमेंट भी समझ के इस ऑर्डर को विड्रॉ कर लेगी। ये मुझे कहना है।
शुक्रिया, शुक्रिया विजय जी।
थैंक यू।
मैंने इसीलिए बोला था, probably the last has still not been heard on this episode of blending permission being withdrawn totally.
Atulji, I think we are now is at 3:15. So I think you can conclude and then we move to the next webinar.
Before concluding, I must congratulate Mehta ji for your impeccable timing. You had planned to conclude it by 3:15 and you have done that. Congratulations, Mehta ji, for your impeccable planning. And thank you very much for all the members for reposing their trust in us. And I'm sure we will try our level best to ensure that our trust, whatever is there, we do not give you any cause of complaint in the new year. Thank you. Thank you very much for reappointing us. Over to you, Mehta ji.
Okay.
We conclude this AGM official business.
Thank you, Atul ji, for this nicely completing this AGM, 49th AGM.